Welcome to Let's Talk Algorithms. My name is Venkatesh and today we'll be solving the problem unique email addresses on Leetcode. Let's start with the problem description. It says every email consists of a local name and a domain name separated by the @ sign. They're describing how the email address looks like. Alice at leetcode.com is an example where Alice is the name, leetcode.com is the domain name. So besides lowercase characters, the email address might contain a dot and a plus. So they mentioned some rules for how they work. If you have a dot, basically like alice.z at leetcode.com, it will be considered as alicez at leetcode.com. So dot wouldn't be considered when like deducting the email address. And if you have a plus sign on the email address, then basically everything after the plus won't be considered. So if you see here m.y plus name at the rate email.com will be simply mmy at the rate email.com, because you don't consider dots and you don't consider anything after the plus. So the question asks, given a list of emails, we send one email to each address in the list. How many different addresses actually receive emails? If basically the question comes up to, given a list of emails, find out the number of unique emails. The only problem here is we have some rules for dot and plus. We have to basically detect the actual email address from each email address. Basically you have to clean dot and plus and find out the actual email address. Probably we can store all of them in a hash map or a dictionary, find out all unique emails, and probably like return the length of the hash map as a result. Let's start with a mini workbook. So this is our algorithm. Let's say we get an email address. So you split the email address with @ sign, split on @sign. So what happens once you split @sign? So let's say test dot alice plus alex at Leetcode. No, let's call it Let's Talk Algorithms. So once you separate it out, you will have two strings. One is the name, the second is the domain name. Next, take the first part, split it on the plus sign. So we don't want anything after the plus sign. So when you split it like that, it will be test.alex comma test.alice comma alex. So we ignore alex, sorry alex, and take the first part from the above, from step 2, split on the dot or period operator. So now you get test comma alice. So step 4 is basically combine strings from step 3 and append @ domain. This would be final. This would be clean email address. So this is how we clean email addresses. So for each email in the list, we do this, and then what do? Check if it exists in the map. If it does, ignore, otherwise add it. Now finally return length of the map. So this way you go, like read each email, clean it up based on this algorithm, and then add it to a map, so that if you have any duplicates, you eliminate them, and then you return the length of the map. This ideally gives you back basically the unique number of emails from the given list. So let's start with the solution. We need basically a result. Actually, we can just return the length of the map. So let's start with an email map. So make of map, we just need string for emails. Having an email as a key, we can just have boolean. I mean, in Go, instead of boolean, you could also use struct. Basically, this saves you space. It doesn't use any space. Go doesn't have set, so you use a map. And let's have a small private function called clean email, where you take the email string and return a string. So what do you do here? You basically do the algorithm below. Let's call it name domain. You use strings.split as capital on email and add the @ sign, right? Yeah. So once you have it, then return like split for name plus strings.split. See what the algorithm says. Take the first part from the above. So you take the first part by name domain is an array. You take the first element and split it on plus. Now you have name dot, or yeah, name dots. Name dot. You split again. Name plus of 0. You split it on period. Finally, you have name dot, which has 2 strings, which is the final name. So what are you going to do? You can basically return strings dot join. So join is basically a function which takes a list of strings and then join them based on certain delimiter. Here we don't want anything, right? When we remove dot, we basically just want to append the first name, last name. So plus add the @ sign plus name domain of 1. When you split the name and domain exists in the second part, so you're basically returning the cleaner email. So you have email map. If email map of clean email of, you know what, before this you need to loop through the emails. So for email range emails this, and now you can use this. So you pass the email, check if it doesn't exist, because we are using a boolean. If it doesn't exist, then add email map of instead of having a double call, you can just do cleaner email. So if cleaner email doesn't exist, then add cleaner is equal to true. Finally, return length of email map. Alright, so we have a map, we have traversing the list, converting each email to a cleaner email, check if it exists in the map. If it doesn't, then you add it and you return the length of the map. Let's run, see if it works. Awesome, it works. Let's submit. Alright, it works. 12 milliseconds. It beats 87% of the solutions. It's kind of good enough. Alright, that is unique email addresses for you. If you see which companies asked for this, you see Google and Adobe asked this question a lot of times in the last 6 months. This is relatively new question. So if you come across this in an interview, good luck. And if you have any questions, add a comment. Thank you.